Hello, everyone. It is Friday, July 15th, 2022, and welcome to AMA Air Live. Today, we've got a lot of fun stuff to talk about, and proudly sponsoring this episode is warbirdpilots.com. We'll talk a lot about them in the upcoming episode. I also have this guy next to, there he is, that guy over there next to me, who will be joining us for this show, and he'll be talking about his great migration from the West.
Yep. We've also got Jay Smith talking about the latest Small Aviation magazine as well.
Yeah, all this and more on AMA Air. Hey, everybody. Welcome to AMA Air Live. I am your substitute host today, Lee Ray. And joining me to fill in the missing seat of Matt Ruddick is my buddy right over here. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Chris Wolfe, the RC Geek, otherwise known as. I got a YouTube channel, and there's been a lot going on.
You have been here before.
I have been here before.
They know you. They won't get your name wrong. Hey, thanks for filling in. I know Matt's a little under the weather, so we hope he gets better real soon. But Chris, kindly, he was already planning to come in the party anyway, so I think Matt's missing out the fun because Chris, I know I'm just going to start right off because you've got a fun story to tell us because we've been waiting to release this. So maybe here's the floor. Go ahead and share the story with us. I'll ask you questions while you're chatting.
All right. Well, let's see. We have been 2 weeks now in our new home in Tennessee. And so those you who know me, I used to live in San Diego. It's been quite the journey getting here.
A few miles.
So there's been, yes, many a pod packed and many a mile driven to get to this point. But we are looking to just kind of settle down, slow down, live a little bit more simply. And so being out here in Tennessee, we're in the Nashville area now. I put out a big announcement about it. I've actually got a big giveaway happening at the moment. And so we can talk about that a little bit more later. But packed up everything, migrated eastwards. And my wife ended up getting an amazing opportunity out here. And so for me, I technically am semi-retiring from aerospace. I left my company. And so I'm going to be focusing on the channel full time to see what I can do there and also finish out my son's homeschooling. My daughter's going to college here in a few weeks. But my son's got 3 years left. And so I'm really excited to be able to dedicate more time to him and finish out his homeschooling. So we drove across the country, took 5 days to do it. We didn't want to, we weren't in a huge hurry because we still had to wait for our stuff to arrive. So we stopped in Sedona, which is here. And then we stopped Sedona. And if you've never been out there, I don't know if you've ever been to Sedona. It's really quite an amazing place. And of course I had to take the obligatory,
Well, I just like the photo bombing by your kids.
Yeah. And then let's see, where do we go from there? From Sedona. This was in Amarillo, Texas.
Yeah, you said it right.
Cadillac Ranch. You corrected me, even though I can't help but say it.
George Strait says it that way, so therefore it's Amarillo.
There we go. And I don't know if you can see in the picture, it says RC Geek there on the top. Oh. My daughter painted that one. I actually had one on the lower part too, but I don't know if you've ever been to Cadillac Ranch. It's the weirdest thing, but we had a blast out there. Actually, it was really fun.
We went out there where you wouldn't expect this, but it was actually like a light snow out there. So the sky was completely white, and we got some really cool photos. And I remember sharing some of those photos on the Google Maps for this location. So you might be able to see my photos out there, but it's a neat little stop, so to speak.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it was totally random, but it was fun. And then one of the other places we stopped on, if you go to the next picture, there was this random diner that we happened to find that was actually amazing. It had been there since 19 43, I think. I can't remember. I lost. I needed to make a note. I forgot. But it had been there since the 40s, and it looked like it had been there since the 40s. But the food was fantastic. This was in Arkansas. I can't remember the place, but it's called Ed Walker's. It was a really fun stop. We had no idea. It was off the beaten path, but yeah, it was a fun place to stop off. So 5 days across the country, and then yeah, that's right. Fort Smith, Arkansas. That's where it is. And so what's the next picture we got here? I can't remember. And then arrived to Tennessee. So we did it in 5 days. We stopped in Sedona. We stopped in Albuquerque. We stopped in Oklahoma City, Little Rock, Arkansas, and then finally to the Nashville area where we now live. And so been spending the last few weeks getting the new shop set up. There was nothing really set up in here. I bought all new cabinets. So this was us assembling the cabinets. I actually put a topper on there. This is MDF that I primered and painted. So we'll see how that holds up. They were having issues cutting melamine. So I was like, all right, I'll try the MDF because they could cut it at the Home Depot for me. And so so far it's working well. And then finally our stuff arrived. So I don't know. So in the process of packing, we used the pods. We had 3 pods. One was mostly dedicated to airplanes. And it was at that point I realized that I kind of have a problem.
I needed 20 more pods.
Yeah. But everything seems to have arrived generally safe and sound. It was hard to.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw this video of you.
Yeah,
your little time lapse you shared.
I do have an addiction, but it's a very family friendly addiction, and it's definitely worth it.
Everybody here approves your addiction, including me. Yeah. I can't imagine potting this stuff, because I got stuff in the attic.
Oh,
I still have planes on the dining room table, but I don't want to talk about that. This is the Chris Wolfe show, not what the heck is Lee doing in the house.
It was a huge undertaking. It was actually ended up being far more laborious than I was actually expecting, but it all worked out. We got it all here, and so our house. It's a 3-car garage. There's a separate 2-car and a separate 1-car. So this is the 1-car side, and this is going to be storage. So this is when we first arrived, everything unpacked. And then, so this is the 1-car side before I got anything in there. And then on the next one is the 2-car side. If we go to the next picture,
click
before yeah before anything was put away, and actually it got pretty messy in there. It was bad. If anybody who's moved knows that it's awful. But I've been spending the last week 2 weeks now just getting it all situated, and I think we're generally there. So this is the 1-car now, mostly organized. I still need an additional rack like I've got here, and I'm actually going to put a hanging rack in there, and so that should really clear out the space there. And then on the 2-car side, I think we're generally ready to go. Got everything hung up. I didn't seem like this many airplanes when I was packing it all, but I unpacked. It's like, gosh, I got a lot of stuff.
Well, I know Dylan is going to yank me off because I have tons of questions I'd like to ask. And while I'm here taking a little break, those of I'm sad. Sorry, not yet, Dylan. Not yet.
You dared me to do it, so I did.
He's funny. But I have a lot of questions. If anybody else has questions for Chris while we're chatting, please feel free to jump in. But for someone who's moving, I guess one of my first questions I had when you started talking is, how long have you lived on the West Coast?
Oh boy. Pretty much my entire life. I grew up in the LA area, and I went to college for 4 years in Arizona. So, and when I graduated from college, I expected to go anywhere, right? I'm going to go wherever the work takes me. Well, as it turned out, it took me back to Southern California. And so I got a job. I worked at Honeywell for 3 years as a project engineer. And actually, I was working on electric ducted fans, believe it or not, for environmental control systems But then I got involved with a UAV project at that company, and I was doing flight testing and that kind of stuff with it. And that's what really opened the light bulb went off. I was like, man, this is what I should be doing. What am I doing here doing this fans? I should really be working on UAVs, because it made perfect sense for my background. And so I ended up applying to a bunch of places, got a job at General Atomics, which makes the MQ-9 Reaper, the MQ-1 Predator. And so I worked there so I moved down to San Diego, and within 3 weeks of moving to San Diego, got married and, all of that stuff. But I lived in San Diego for 19 years.
Wow.
And actually worked at General Atomics 19 years to the day, believe it or not, which is just how it kind of worked out.
You had visited Tennessee, for some time, and I'm just curious, if you don't mind sharing, but what made you finally decide? You mentioned your wife got a really good job there, but is there anything else in Tennessee that you really liked?
We love the area. It's absolutely gorgeous out here. Being in Southern California, it's a concrete jungle. It's desert, and so we came out here and we're like, oh my gosh, it's so green.
It's
what
green.
Is all of this?
You know what? I'm going to jump in and say that was the funniest thing when we've made our trips to Muncie or just driving around. We always say Tennessee is always the greenest state we've ever driven through.
Well, and they've got rolling hills around here, and it's just amazing. It's just God's creation is incredible.
Well, I'm going to jump to another question I have here, because this kind of talks about you visiting and so forth. Have you already picked a flying club out there that you might join?
Yeah, so there's actually a club here 15 minutes from my house. It's at Cane Ridge Park. I can't remember the name of the club, but that's going to be my primary field. And actually, being where we are, there's so many events now within driving distance that I'm planning to go hit up a bunch more events now that I can drive to them and bring airplanes and have just a grand old time. So I'm really excited for that.
I know Texas is like 4 states travel, but I'm looking forward to seeing you again, because you're hoping to make it back to Bomber.
I am,
this September, because I got
with
to meet
an airplane this time, or maybe a few airplanes.
Go ahead and ship you still have the pod, just ship half your stuff back over here. We'll watch it. We'll take care of it for you. we'll dump it there.
It's about a 12-hour drive. So my intention is to drive if I can get there. So it's all going to be predicated at this point based on my son's schooling, because he's a big focus for me now.
Well, if you can't find a hotel, you can stay at Shea Ray.
All right.
We're happy to put you up, and we'll have fun together. So you've that's good. You found a club, because I know that people who are moving and traveling, and people do it all the time. I have been lucky. I'm a native Houstonian. I've lived here all my life. I have moved from apartment to apartment, and I have to kind of be was this not fair to some of you? My last move was pretty simple, because I had like a month's time to move everything out of my old house to the new one. And so it was just driving back and forth. I didn't need a pod, and I didn't have to do what you did. But speaking of that, because maybe this is another question some folks have, if they're planning a trip or they're going to be moving, how much care did you put into packing everything? Like, did you feel like you did too much or whatever? And then of course the sad question is, how much stuff arrived damaged when it showed up?
More of it arrived damaged than I would have hoped.
Yeah.
Not heavily damaged, and it's all stuff that's repairable pretty easily, some more than others. But it seemed like, we wrapped everything in bubble wrap and loosely packed it in there. But
did that pod driver hit every pothole? Is that what it felt like?
Possibly. It's hard, because I think also the suspension is designed for a certain weight. They're expecting a much heavier pod than maybe they get because the airplanes are much lighter. Like that pod was by far much lighter than the other two that we shipped. So maybe that's part of it. Things get bounced around more because it's a little bit stiffer ride. Because
now that you've had that experience, what would you do? What would you have done differently? So
I would have actually
offer some advice.
Yeah, I would have double wrapped some of the stuff. So or laid down bubble wrap first on the surface and then had everything bubble wrapped, because I thought it would have been okay, but it ended up being the stuff on the bottom that only had a single layer of bubble wrap that ended up the most damage. So I would have put, wherever I put airplanes, put down bubble wrap first and then put everything in there on top. So interestingly enough, the stuff that I kind of loosely packed on top of like boxes and things, that all arrived perfectly fine. And I didn't even wrap in any of that stuff. So,
just took a shovel.
You never know.
There.
Yeah, you never know. We did the best that we could, and like I said, nothing major that I've seen thus far. But like my Mirage got, I think, the most hammered, and it's not too bad. So, but I'll get it all repaired once I get everything all set up and 100% operational again.
Well, hopefully you could write an article about this for your RC Geek fans, something that you would have done differently, because, people are moving or people are shipping. I took as much advice as I could when I bought a trailer by going to Joe Nall and looking at everybody else's trailer and seeing how they packed. And there were several guys who just said, you know what, I've tried all the racks, I've tried all this, and they just had sheets of foam. And they just threw the planes in there, put the sheets of foam, because that's how it works. You sleep on the bottom, and that's how it'll arrive safely. And I kind of wish I had done that. But hey, now that you're there and you've had this chance to see this white canvas of a garage or a workshop, what are some new ideas, new features, new additions that you hope to add to this workshop that you didn't have luxury of back in California?
Air conditioning. I'm getting air conditioning installed today.
Welcome to the modern world. No more big packs of ice delivered.
I've never had a workshop with air conditioning, and it's like to work out here because it's pretty hot, and it gets muggy, and so here versus it's dry in Southern California. So without the temperature controls, it's hard to do any work in there for any extended period of time, especially if I'm looking to film in there, right? So that's a huge luxury that I'm really looking forward to, and I'll be able to focus more time in there and be a lot more comfortable while I'm doing it. But otherwise, most of the tools and things are all the same. I brought all that stuff with me. And I don't think I'll be adding much there. I'd love to get like a CNC table at some point, but I'm gonna have to save my pennies for that one.
Well, so because you already have 3D printers. I think you even have a resin printer, right?
Yes.
Because you do so much work, and in fact, I'd love to touch on some of the stuff you make, but that's for another episode of the Chris Wolfe Show. But what about a workbench? I mean, I've always watched your videos, and you have that big center bench or table that you use, and you do those wonderful time lapse and stuff. Any changes with that? Maybe one that rolls or moves around, stuff like that? Or do you have a big table like that?
Yeah. So that big table I built, ages ago with a friend of mine, and it is on wheels actually. And that was definitely coming with us.
Oh, good. You brought it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's a big 4x8 sheet of plywood that we built a table on. So it's a 4 foot by 8 foot table. And I do all of my building on it. And that the workbench that you saw up against the wall in the pictures, that's where I actually have all my 3D printers and all of that stuff. Because honestly, having it up against the wall, a workbench, works for some things, but you can't beat being able to walk completely around a work table while you're trying to work on a project.
Yeah.
And so that's the best part of it.
I don't have the luxury in this workshop, although this table that I have, which is a really nice workbench, I have those little sliders. So I'm able to easily move this table around. But because I put so much junk right here, I can't move this table. So I've got to improve that lifestyle of mine to do that. Gosh, and again, I'd love to talk to you more about what you are planning to do and see the updates as they happen. So congratulations on your move.
Thank you.
And I really hope things work out well. But I know that, look, you got a congratulations from Jay there.
Thank you.
I think we all are happy for you. You
I do. Oh, go ahead. Well, I just wanted to mention. So now that we're getting settled here, I'm getting the shop back up and running. My whole goal for the channel going forward is I started this whole thing with the intention to show people how to build, right? Because not many builders, it seems like these days, and so my focus going forward is I'm really hoping to show more build projects. A lot of the airplanes that we brought with us are unbuilt. So I've got a lot of stuff to show, which includes, I've got the B-58 Hustler, which
I saw the landing gear video.
Which we talked about in the last time we met up. I've got an F-14 Tomcat 1/10 scale. I've got FJ4 Fury. I've got an FJ3 Fury, that one of my dad's kits. I've got a big Sea Fury. I've got another Sky Raider. You can never have too many Sky Raiders. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to do, and I'm really excited. And also, I'm also looking to show like scratch building projects. I've got a scratch build project in mind for the short term, that once everything is good to go in the shop, I'm planning to get started.
You can't wait until you're unpacked. You better get started on that stuff right now, because unpacking will be another year.
No, I mean, I'm mostly there.
Okay, that's good.
Mostly.
Yeah. So we have a question here from Field Boss. What's the most exciting thing happening in RC flying today for you?
The most exciting thing happening, the one thing I will say, that the accessibility of the hobby now compared to how it used to be, it's so much more accessible. Like, you can get into the hobby at such a lower cost now. So I think that's really an amazing thing. And that's, if we can bring in more people and show what can be done, and how this hobby is a gateway to careers in aviation, I'm a testament to that, right? And so I think that's the most exciting part about the hobby now. And it's unreal, just the models that are out there nowadays. I remember back when I was a kid, a large model was like 60 sized,
Yeah.
And now, you got 250 cc radial engine powered, warbirds that just sound amazing.
Well, just the jets. I mean,
huge quarter scale, F-104s and all that stuff. It's just amazing. It's incredible.
Yeah. Like I said, we'll have to have a Chris Wolfe hour show. I want to bring up something that we talked about in our last episode with you in March, and that's the giveaway you had. So I'm going to give you the floor to talk about your little giveaway.
Yeah. So when all of this happened, I put out an announcement on my YouTube channel and talking about what's going on, where things are going with the channel, but also giving away an FMS Rafale 80 millimeter EDF, thanks to Horizon Hobby. And so be sure to check out the video. It tells you all the information you need to know to enter.
I entered.
Completely free. Do you understand? So let's see. I will be pulling the winner on August 11th and announcing the winner on August 12th. And so definitely check that out. There's a link to the video on my website. It's also that's the rcgeek.com there, and also there it's on my YouTube channel as well. But there's a lot of things going on, and so it touches on that. And when I announce the winner, my intention is to give a shop tour as well. So hopefully we can show you how it all ended up.
Let me win. Please let me win. Please let me win.
So like I said, it's completely free. I will never contact you about paying for shipping or anything like that. There was a scammer that was trying to scam people. So understand that the giveaway goes through August 11th. You will not be charged anything if you win. I'm paying for everything. So
awesome. Well, we'll tune back in with you on that winner, and we'll watch your announcement and share it. But thank you, Chris, for giving all that. Again, welcome to Tennessee. Hope you have fun there, and I'm hoping to see more of you. I hope we can put you out on some assignments.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
do some Tennessee research for us, because that's my job in Texas, and I'll talk about something I'm doing at the end of the show for a Texas trip. But see, I might have you as our Tennessee affiliate. So
sounds good to me.
Thanks a lot. Well, guys, we have someone who's been waiting patiently in the wings, and he is our model aviation editor, Jay Smith. So, Jay Smith, come on in here. Do you have any questions for Chris after he had that whole spiel? We left you back there, so you didn't get to raise your hand and say, but.
No, I think he shared some really great information about moving. And the only thing that I was going to add is, when I moved from Florida to Indiana 14 years ago to come to work for AMA, I rented a 26-foot moving truck and moved all my airplanes myself. And I actually had no damage once I arrived in Muncie, just again, obviously there's a lot of options out there, and you don't know how it's going to work out until you do it. But my experience, I brought 17 models to Muncie, and they were all bubble wrapped and all that, and fortunately got here without any damage. I definitely think your point about pods expecting a heavier load, so you didn't get probably the shock absorption when your models were moved, but thankfully glad to hear it was minor. We hate hanger rash.
One thing that's interesting, so we looked into like renting a U-Haul or something like that, and U-Hauls leaving the state of California cost 10 times more than U-Hauls going into the state of California, which is kind of crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, pretty nuts.
Yeah. That's all I got to say about that. Well, I'm glad you were able to afford your drive out here or out here to Tennessee. So Jay, I guess we have some exciting stuff to talk about for Model Aviation.
Yes, very excited to finally be able to share the cover and the article that I was able to do with Tom Schultz, who is the founder of the band Boston. He's the guitar player, he's the keyboard player, and he writes all of Boston's music. And he is celebrating 50 years in our hobby this year.
Wow.
And so he reached out to us and wanted to share his story. And I had the good fortune to interview him because I grew up with Boston. So really excited to finally have that available for people to see and to read. And obviously the digital edition is available right now. So if you're a digital subscriber, it's available to you. If you're a print subscriber, it'll be about a week to 10 days and you'll have it in print. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about it today on my show, which starts at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard, Model Aviation Live. We'll talk a little bit more about that issue and about Tom Schultz in my interview with him. I'm also excited to share with you that I have two people coming on the show that work for High Tech. I've got Mike Mayberry that'll be on the show, and I have Sean Spiker. So we're going to talk about all things high tech. So please join us at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time to take part in Model Aviation Live. Also, I want to mention, obviously, it was shared that Warbird Pilots sponsored this edition, and I think all of the editions of AMA Air this month. And I just wanted to share that I worked with our museum director, Michael Smith, and Adam, who owns Warbird Pilots, and they're actually donating some of their pilots to be in a new scale exhibit that the museum is working on. So we'll literally have Warbird Pilots in our scale exhibit. So thank you so much to Adam for being willing to provide those to our museum.
Yeah, they're fantastic pilots. I've used a number of them, and tie them with my random servo motion generator, because you can get pilots with operational heads, with servos that operate the heads. And so, yeah, they're fantastic. They've got the perfect look, and they're, you can mold them, shape them how you need to get them into your cockpit and whatever. So I really like his pilots a lot.
Yeah. I have some friends who said you cannot build a plane without a pilot.
That's true. Otherwise it's just a UAV.
Well, the sad thing is my planes aren't worthy of the scale of these pilots. I feel ashamed, so I got to spend way more time building mine. And yeah, like this.
So yeah, this is in the Legend Hobby 85 Skyraider. So
you can't have enough Skyraiders.
Yeah, that's it. The side by side seating, I had to have two of them moving. It's pretty fun.
Where's the runway? I don't know.
Yeah. They're just in there chilling, having a conversation.
Well, and Chris, I'd like to add, I did see a couple of pilots using your little random servo generator thing out at Joe Null.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
Yeah. And some of your little afterburner kits. So
awesome.
You are known out there. Well, Jay, thank you so much. Any other tidbits? Any little Tom Schultz you want to add for me for this show?
Well,
I bet that sailplane he was flying was smoking.
Oh.
Yes, it's very, very overpowered.
See?
So,
absolutely. It's funny. Sorry.
I had to throw that in there.
Only if the viewers are getting the joke.
Okay, I'll share one quick, interesting fact that I found out when I interviewed him, and that is I asked him how it came about that they have spaceships on the cover of all their albums. And like on the first album, the spaceship's a guitar. And I just asked, where that came from. And he laughed when I asked that. And he explained that because of the name Boston, the record company wanted to put Boston baked beans on the cover. And, I think personally, I mean, no offense, I like baked beans. No offense to Boston baked beans, but I think spaceships are cooler
Much
imagery
cooler.
than baked beans. So that's an interesting tidbit that there could have been baked beans on the cover.
So we sampled 1,000 people. We had one guy buy the Bean album.
Yeah.
999 bought the rocket ship. We're going with the rocket ship.
Yeah.
Good choice. Good choice. Well, there are a lot of great songs. I listened to them and I grew up with them as well, Jay. But thanks for doing that, because I think that's really exciting. And I mentioned to you in just a private conversation that I have a dear friend of mine who's a huge Boston fan. I've already sent him the link about it. So I'm sure he's looking forward to reading that.
Well, I'm excited for all of our members to read it and everyone else. It's also being shared on the Boston, the band's actual Facebook page. So we're going to be able to put model aviation, AMA, and aero modeling in front of 2.1 million people. So that's really exciting.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thanks again. And we'll look forward to watching Model Aviation live after this.
Thank you, guys.
All right. See you, Jay. Lots of stuff going on. You moving, Jay working with Tom Schultz, but we've been very busy out at IAC for the World Championships of Model Pylon Racing. And I, unfortunately, didn't get to participate, but I have been talking with all my staff, co-workers there at HQ, and seeing a lot of photos. And I know Dylan has been working hard, our producer, trying to capture everything live, and Rachel's been doing photos for us. And it just ended yesterday, or 2 days ago. They had their award ceremony, and I want to first start by thanking all the people who participated, all the volunteers, all the staff that made it happen, because we've only heard positive things from the event. So I want to thank event director Dan Kane, contest director Mike Condon, chief scorer Chuck Andraka, chief race equipment manager Tom Milsheimer, starter Doug Killebrew, site director Terry Frazier, F3D compliance officer Dub Jet, F3E compliance officer Tim Lamp, and our very own FAI coordinator Colleen Pierce. They did one heck of a job putting this all together. Again, we've had wonderful responses. And just real quick, I want to mention that we've had a U.S. national junior record set by a gentleman by the name of Leo Nordell, and he won first place in junior F3D. So congratulations, Leo. You can learn more about the event by going to modelaircraft.org/FAI. We have the official program there that you can download and see photos of all the participants and their partners, and learn more about the countries that participated. You can also see the results on that link. If you go to live results, it's already done, and they have the documents there to show you. But how about we touch upon real quick the main winners? So in first place for the F3D teams, Sweden won. The first in F3E teams was the Czech Republic. First in F3D individual was Emil Broberg from Sweden. And first in F3E individual was Tomas Sinneberg from the Czech Republic. The U.S. did pretty well in second place for the F3D team. They got second for F3D team and third in F3E team. And for second place in the F3D individual, Gino Del Ponte won. So congratulations to everyone. Thank you for making it a great event. If you've been watching, you can see the live show that Dylan recorded for us, and you can find that on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. So that was a big event.
And was that hosted here, or was that
at IAC?
Is that in Muncie? Awesome.
Yeah, 12 countries participated.
That's awesome.
And I got to tell you, I watched the award ceremony. They were having a lot of fun.
It looked like it from the video.
That champagne was flowing. And I want to touch on that. Me personally, I really enjoyed seeing so many father-son teams. I have a great time flying with my kids, and just to see those dads and their sons, and you could just see the fathers. I don't want to say they were getting choked up or teary-eyed, but when their son won, or they were, their son was a partner with them, you could just see the bond there. And so that's a great way to stay in this hobby, is get father-son teams and father-daughter. We'd like to see that. I didn't see any this time, but man, that would be great. So again, thanks for everybody for doing that. Before we take our little ad break, Chris, because I'm going to take a breath. I want to again mention to everybody that warbirdpilots.com is our sponsor. And so I want to let you know that they carry a full line of highly detailed 10, 12, 15, and 22-inch tall World War I, World War II, and modern pilot figures for your scale warbirds and jets. And I got to say, I've seen these up close. They are amazing.
They're great.
And They are. The detail, again, not worthy for my models. The line of figures covers aircraft in scales from 8th up to a 3rd scale. These figures are fully adjustable to any position and are outfitted with absolute scale accessories on the market. The figures are incredibly light, designed specifically for model aircraft, and have the ability to be cut and shortened into busts. So to learn more and to pick one of the best air pilots for your aircraft, go to warbirdpilots.com to learn more. Chris, let's take
and you can get an X-Wing pilot too if you want.
Oh, there you go. Maybe that's what I mean. Every plane is going to be an X-Wing pilot.
That's it.
Hey, well, let's take a quick break. We'll come right back with iFly AMA.
Said, are you ready? Are you ready for iFly AMA?
In my best Matt Ruddick voice, it's that time for our favorite part of the show, my favorite and your favorite, the iFly AMA pick of the week. And this is great because I picked several, and again, I could only use one. But what is neat is that unfortunately Matt's not here, but I did listen to a podcast where he talked about what I found in iFly AMA, and it's a large model aircraft that was on iFly AMA, and just Mike Fettinger, I hope I pronounced your name right. He was displaying this large Hangar 9 Carbon Cub FX3. And I just like the photo. It's very simple, big plane. And he mentions in the post that it is a large model airplane program. And if you pull up the podcasts for AMA and modelaircraft.org/podcasts, episode 90 with Tony Stillman talks about how you can be certified for large model airplanes, which are 50 pounds and more, correct? Not 50. Is it 55? See, now
55.
See, it's 50. Thank you. See, I knew you could do it. So anyway, that's just a cool big plane, and he looks like he's very happy to have a big plane. Do you have anything that big, Chris?
Not that big, no. 86-inch is about as big as I've got at the moment, but you never know what the future holds.
Probably little brushless 2210 motor.
Yeah.
3S.
Yeah.
No.
Multiplied by a few.
Well, hey, Mike, I know it's just you with the plane, and some people post these extravagant photos or collection of images, but I love that you seem very happy to be flying that large plane, and I hope those of you who are looking into getting into these large size aircraft, again, tune into the podcast with Tony and Matt to learn about getting your certified.
And I bet that airplane just flies so good.
Oh, yeah, it's like
I've flown. I don't think it was quite this big, but I've flown things that big, and they're just big trainers, man. They just float, and it's a lot of fun.
How big is the bird dog that you've flown from Legend Hobby?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I don't think it was quite this heavy, but it's over 100-something inch span easily. I mean, it's a monstrous airplane. And it was just such a fun thing to cruise around. It was great.
Yeah, very easy and stable, as this gentleman said, Nico says.
Yeah.
So did you have a pick for iFly AMA? I hope so.
I did. Wait, I sent you the link.
No. Hopefully Dylan has it. Dylan,
okay,
do you
good.
have his
Dylan,
thing?
do you have the pic? Oh, thank goodness.
That's how we roll on a live show.
Yeah. So I saw this Fokker D8 by Steve Neal, which I thought was just a neat, something you don't see every day. Nicely built. And Steve Neal was actually recently featured in one of the Model Aviation magazines. He was interviewed at the back.
Yeah, he was I Am the AMA. Plus, he was also with Jay on the previous Model Aviation Live.
Oh yeah, perfect. So you got to hear his background in Hollywood and model making and all that stuff. So yeah, so it's just caught my eye. I really liked the looks of the model, and it's painted in this really unique paint scheme that I actually haven't seen on a Fokker D8 before. So I thought it was cool.
That's cool. Well, thank you, Steve, for sharing that. Now, for those of you who just got here who are not familiar with the iFly AMA that we talk about, it is on Facebook. We have a group out there that the AMA sponsors, and you can go to facebook.com/group/iFly AMA. You will be asked a couple of questions, and we ask that you agree to the rules, the group rules. You must answer the questions and agree, or we will not let you in. We got to keep out the spammers and the fake people. But once you do that, I will approve you. Jump on in, have fun. The conversations are great. People post a lot of fun aircraft and stories. And in fact, a lot of events have been coming up too. Now that it seems to be a little bit less COVID closure, people locked in their rooms, people are getting out and flying again. So we encourage you to go in there and check out some of the events nearby or where you might be heading to. So again, go to facebook.com, just like Dylan wrote right there, /group/iFly AMA, and join today. Hey, and
let's see those projects.
Yeah, let's see the projects. Well, speaking of projects, if you have a cool photo of a project or maybe a plane you photographed, we offer to display your photo on the cover of the iFly AMA group. And I think Victor was our last winner. Is that correct, Dylan? You're going to nod yes or pull it up. I don't remember. But we have this great photo that's currently on our page, and you can enter to have your photo up there. On the top of the group is a featured section, and it talks about entering to win. And all you have to do is post some photos. Doesn't have to be one, and we'll look through all of them, and it'll be a judging of how many likes and how many comments the photo gets. And if you're the winner for next month, we will have it on display there in the group. So don't forget, while you're in the iFly AMA group, to enter to win. There we go.
Oh, that's a beautiful picture. That's
Vic,
cool.
here. Yeah. So again, you can have your photo up there. So thanks, guys. All right. Well, I know we moved a couple of things around, and I think I'm supposed to talk AirVenture. And the problem is, Dylan will have to cut me off here, or you're going to have to cut me off, Chris, because I will talk a lot about AirVenture. I love it. I love it. I love it. I went for my first time in 2017. I went last year with my family. And as an employee of the AMA, I got to work last year and had a blast. We have several members that volunteer out there that work the Blue Barn for Young Eagles. These are young pilots who are getting into aviation. And we have a program with Horizon Hobby to build a SIG cadet to help these kids learn the functionality of an aircraft. And in fact, last year we had a young lady from a club bring out her LT-40 to fly out at the RC flying site, which is on Pioneer Runway next to the EAA Museum. So it's a kind of a full circle program there. We also have our sim trailer out there. So we hope to see you guys out there viewing our flight simulator. We also have people out there at the sim trailer with information about AMA and being able to renew your membership if you like. And also we have UAS for STEM, which is our big contest program out there where we have several colleges participating in and I got to watch this last year where they had several drones, and this year they're sponsored by Skydio, that'll come out there and they learn these paths and they have to fly them autonomously and then pick up like visual letters or symbols or devices that they have to bring back and write them down. It's a whole team effort. It's wonderful. I've seen it and it's amazing. So we'll have UAS for STEM out there. And I mentioned it. There we go. We also will have a flying field. And guys, for me, this was exciting because I never thought you could fly model airplanes at an air show. Have you ever heard of that, Chris? Have you ever?
Yeah, I've done it.
What, you got permission?
So when I was a teenager, I was part of what was called the California Air Show team, which was an RC air show team with my dad and a bunch of other guys. And we went and to a number of full-scale air shows and flew RC at them.
But you were a part of the program, correct?
Well,
I mean,
I guess so.
you just didn't get to fly when everybody was flying. You didn't go, you had to, if you were flying on the main runway, it was a timed slot, right?
Yes, but at the Long Beach Air Show, we were actually integrating with the full-scale aircraft because they still had one runway operational. And so we were flying RC while they were still doing operations out of there.
Well, I never got to experience that here in Houston. Like Wings Over Houston, they don't allow this. However, Wings Over Houston has an RC flight demo in the morning, but you just can't come in with a model airplane and just be expected to fly. But at AirVenture, you can. So if you're an AMA member and you have an electric airplane that's 2 pounds or less, and try to keep it at 2 pounds, folks. You can come out there with your membership, and as long as you took your trust exam, come out to the RC flying site, again, Pioneer Runway next to the EA Museum, and you can fly with us from 6:30 to 9 p.m. And last year, I went in 2017. I was all giddy, brought my own little custom airplane, got to fly while there's, huge airplanes were flying around me, for the actual air show. And it was a lot of fun. And when I brought my kids, they got to enjoy it. And we just had maybe 10 times the number of people that I experienced in 2017.
So this is actual open flying you're talking about.
It is open flying.
Oh, that's different.
And across the way is KidVenture. And at KidVenture, they do control line where they'll actually allow kids to come in the circle and fly control line in the morning, afternoon. So this is where AMA pilots can come out, AMA members, let me just get it right, can come out, have a good time, fly with other folks. We have volunteers from local clubs. We have volunteers from EAA. Again, we'll have AMA staff out there. We'll have pilot stations. We'll have Kenny handling membership. And even if you are not an AMA member, we can encourage you to come out, especially if you're nearby Oshkosh, Wisconsin. You can purchase a 3MT, which is a 3-month trial, for $5. We're making it this special for Oshkosh this year or AirVenture this year. So we'll have people out there to help you out if you haven't. Plus, we'll also be able to oh, cool. I'm just reading the comments as they pop up. You'll also be able to become a member of the AMA out there. Again, Kenny will be happy to help you. So I'm putting it all on Kenny right now. And on top of that, if it didn't get any better than that, we have a partnership with EAA. I mean, we're buddies in aviation, the passion of aviation, full scale model aviation, and they're offering us a $7 daily discount if you're an AMA member. Plus, you can also get an $11 discount on becoming an EAA member if you are with the AMA. And you can get all that information by going to modelaircraft.org/AirVenture. All the links are there. You just need to log into your account and you can get all those links. And I hope to see you guys there. Again, I could take this show for a long party. It was so much fun last year. I know when I came back, I got to talk to Matt and share all my photos, but it is a lot of fun. It's next week. I'm packing up my trailer again, and my 2 boys and I are driving from Houston all the way up to Oshkosh to have a great time for the whole week. And you'll see us out there volunteering at all those locations I mentioned.
Sounds like fun.
And you've never been?
I've never been.
Are you going this time? Well, not this year probably, but are you going to?
I will get there at some point. Yes.
All right. Yeah, you got to call me because maybe I'll swing by, pick you up.
Yeah, just pick me up on the way.
That's great. All right.
So there was actually a question here. I don't know if we could bring up from Nico. He said, being from Chile, can I participate in iFlyAMA?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So I thought that would be good to address.
So Nico, in your comments, when you leave an answer, say Chris Wolfe sent me, or better yet, the RC Geek sent me.
that will in there. Immediately disqualify you if you do.
No, you're in like Flynn if he says that. There you go. That's how we roll. Oh man, so that's happening very soon, but also happening this weekend rather, is NATS. We're still having NATS out here at IAC, and we're resuming with control line scale, and I think other categories of control line as well, but also RC scale is happening. And I know we have friends like Joe Vermillion who are out there right now at Site 4 who are participating. And so that's kicking up. And as Dylan just kindly posted there, you can learn more about NATS by going to modelaircraft.org/NATS. In there, you can look at the schedule, the 2022 schedule, but we also have a link in the NATS news so you can get alerts about events that are happening. I try to keep those posts flowing on Facebook and our other social media channels. So make sure you follow us. whether it's Facebook or Instagram or Twitter and such. And I will do my best to help Dylan, because Dylan has put us on TikTok. And I know he's recently posted some stuff from the pylon on our TikTok channel. So you can find us at iFlyAMA on TikTok. But yeah, we're trying to share more and more of this hobby with you guys. So again, check a look for our social media channels. And of course, always go back to modelaircraft.org. There you go. Dylan's put our TikTok channel up there.
So the Victor RC Jets had a quick question too.
Sure.
So he's asking about if I'll make it back to some of the West Coast events. I expect that I will. I don't know when that will happen. I'll be in the area because my parents obviously still live there. So, I'll be around still.
Good.
I'm like a bad penny. I just kind of turn up,
Well, that's good. I hope these opportunities are available for you to go back and forth.
For sure. Yeah.
Well, speaking of going back and forth, I'm leaving next Friday for Oshkosh, but this weekend, Sunday, I'm heading up to Granbury, Texas, to go do a field dedication for WAMS. It used to be the Weatherford Aircraft Model Society, but now it's called the West Area Model Society, and they've got a brand new field. I'll share more with that on our social media channels. I'll be out there with our District 8 VP, Lawrence Harville. So look for that on Monday. We'll try to do some live. If not, I'll be posting photos. And I just want to add, I love these stories. I'm glad I get to participate because it is here in Texas. It's not too far. It's about 4 hours. But we always hear the sad stories of clubs that are getting shut down, regulations, or encroaching and so forth. But I also love the stories like this where we're finding new fields. So if you guys are out there and you have a club that's maybe had some new changes or renovations, let us know. You can always post messages on the iFlyAMA group or contact us directly on other social media channels. But I'd like to hear those stories. So feel free to and if you want, you can email me directly, leeray@modelaircraft.org. And so I'm ready to wrap it up. Chris, is there any last minute stuff you want to chat about?
No, I just want to, mention, be sure to enter the giveaway that I've got going on. It's completely free. It's a Rafale, FMS Rafale 80 millimeter EDF. Your chance to win. And so, shameless plug, check out my website, check out my YouTube channel.
You should,
because there's going to be a lot happening in the future. It might take a little while to start getting a rhythm going once I get the shop back up and running, but I will be posting regularly. And my goal is to have some sort of build related video at least once a month. And so we'll see if I can hold to that. So
we'll be following. And also right after this, we have Model Aviation Live. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Follow it on our Facebook or our YouTube channel. If you're not an AMA member, you can join by going to modelaircraft.org/join. And again, I've mentioned all our social media channels. I hope you visit with us there. And until next time, Lee Ray saying goodbye from AMA Air.
bye.